Peace, welcome back to Playbook FM. I'm Jay. We're back with part 4 of Creating a Legacy, my very first journeyman save. Since the last episode, our form has been a bit rocky, to be fair. As you can see, we went on a massive unbeaten run towards the end of the first month of the league season. However, after the Maidstone game, which was in the last episode, we have lost 2 on the bounce and then came back with a 1-0 victory away against Concord Rangers. And today we play our first FA Cup qualification game against Corinthian Casuals, who play in the Ryman League Premier Division. So they're a few leagues down below us. So there should be a victory here today. However, as you can see, in our wins, it's literally just been 1-0 wins. We're struggling to get goals, and we're only really getting goals from Owara Edwards, who did score in the last game against Concord Rangers. So that brings me on to team selection, and he does start here again today. Let me just change this view because I don't know why it just keeps on changing before every match. It's like resizing back to an awkward position. So, starting 11 for our first FA Cup qualification round, we have Ryan Clark in goal, Harper, Baxter, Hartridge and Riley Lowe complete a back four. Harry plays in that defensive midfielder position with Smith and Simpson up in front of him. We have Owara Edwards on the right wing, playing on an attack instruction, so hopefully he can get some goals for us today, with Ross Stern and Ryan Brunt completing the front three. Let's get into the match. Right, let's give the fans the performance that they expect of us, because really and truly lately we've not been looking like the best of teams. In terms of league positioning, we are floating around mid-table. We have been as high as 8th place, I believe. We finished the last episode, but because of the couple of losses we've had on the trot, we have sunk a bit deeper down into the table. But other than that, things are looking pretty decent. We do still need to sort out our defensive issues at the back, and I do believe that getting in another option at defensive midfield would solve that. And Smith there with a shot that goes just wide of the Corinthian Casuals goal. And we're starting off this match at a pretty impressive pace. We've already had a couple of highlights 5 minutes in, and I think maybe playing attacking rather than balanced or positive is probably the way forward for us. In this match anyway, in the league, maybe not so much. However, Owara Edwards flies in from the right wing for his 6th goal of the season. Let's take a look at that again. So Smith switches the ball to Stern, who completely misses it, but it finds Riley Lowe, who's cutting on the left wing, takes a couple of touches, plays it in towards the back post, and Owara Edwards gets on the end of it for his 6th goal of the season. And he is in fantastic form. If we didn't have him on the right wing, I'm not too sure that we'd even be looking at a mid-table position at this time of the year. So we do really have to protect him and, rotate that right wing position a little bit more in the games that we should be winning. That being said, though, the games we should be winning, we're still struggling. We've only won matches by one goal margins. I think we've maybe had 1-2-0 victory so far this season. So we're getting results at the end of the day. However, they're a little bit shaky. And I think if we can address issues at the back and potentially at that left wing position as well, then we're all good. I'm just going to shout at them a little bit to get creative, because this is the first highlight we've seen since that goal. Really and truly, but the ball falls to Stern. Corinthians with a sliding tackle that goes nowhere, but the ball ends up with Edwards, who finds Smith. Smith shoots, it drops to Stern, and they manage to scramble it away, but we are looking pretty decent. I think maybe attacking is the way to go, and in the second match of this episode, we might just continue playing this same system. But I am pleased with how things are going. However, Ross Stern is playing pretty poorly, and he's been doing it like 3 matches on the bounce. He's just been averaging like a 6.4 something in his last 5 matches. So he's not playing great, and I really don't know how to get the best out of him. So I am just going to rage at him a little bit at half time. Hopefully that'll inspire something. And in his second half, he'll show me what he can bring to this team. But if we can, well, we are taking a look at another left winger to bring in, and hopefully that can spark something in the team. However, my shouting at halftime has sparked a Ross Stern goal. The assist coming from O'Hara Edwards. So Smith plays Edwards, who's in behind on the right. Edwards gets into the box, crosses it towards the far post of Stern, who hits it first time and scores. And that's how you respond after getting raged at half-time. I'm very happy with the lads, how they've started this second half, so I am going to give them a bit of praise. I do want to make a couple of substitutions because guys really aren't playing that well. And also, if we can get a third goal just to settle everything down, I do want to take off Edwards just so we save him a little bit for the next league game, because we do need to get some points here today. Well, not today, but in the next match. And Corinthians are starting the highlight. The ball eventually ends up with Stern, who beats his man. Gets tackled and allows for a Corinthian casuals counter-attack, but we do force him back towards our own goal. And Harry tries to clear the ball. I'm not too sure what he was doing. Was he trying to play it back to the keeper there? But it kind of bounces off of the other centre-back, and we're just kind of struggling to get the ball out of our half. It looks like we're panicking a little bit and maybe trying to force things a bit too much. Maybe that's because we're on an attacking mindset. However, we do have a corner. I am going to take off Edwards after this corner. Let's see what Joe Reyners can do on the right wing. I'm also going to take off Baxter because he is looking complacent and isn't playing the greatest game of football. But we are 70 minutes in now, and I think this is probably going to wrap up the match, really and truly. I don't see Corinthians getting a goal. They haven't really looked like doing much, but Smith gives away the ball there, and Simpson cleans up his mess. And the ball is with Ross Stern on the left now, who plays back to Alex Hartridge. Alex Hartridge finds Brunt in behind, who gets tripped up, and it is a penalty. Now this should be a goal here, and it didn't give me the option to change penalty taker. I'm not too sure why, but Ryan Brunt is stepping up to take the penalty. I was a bit scared that Harry Hamlin would be taking it, but Brunt does not make any mistakes from the spot and scores his first goal of the season. Folks, this is our first choice striker, and he's only gotten his first goal of the season in an FA Cup qualification match from the penalty spot. So that pretty much says everything you need to know about our season so far, folks. And what I'm going to do is drop Ross Stern back. No, sorry, not Stern. Reyners back. Stern, you're staying here. And Alex Harper is going to come off for Bollard. Let's get the youngster some minutes, because he's not been playing the best either since he's come into the team. But I think in matches like this, he can really shine. He is only on for the next kind of 10 minutes or so, and whatever we have for injury time. But a bit of a run around, and we'll definitely get him some more minutes in this next match. But we're here for what seems to be the last highlight of the match. Riley just kind of tries to get something going down the left, but it falls to the Corinthian goalkeeper, who I assume will shoot the ball, kick the ball, and end the match, which he does. And a very comfortable 3-0 performance. Right, guys, let's play the next match. So, a little bit of rotation for the Chelmsford City game. We have Max Bramley starting in goal with Joe Reyners, Nathan Baxter, Jack Batten and Conor Riley-Lowe in the defensive four. Harry starts in defensive midfield position alongside the two Toms in midfield. O'Hara Edwards starts on the right wing with Dylan Bollard getting his first start of the season, with Ryan Brunt ahead of them in the lone striker position. Let's get into the match. Alright, go out there and carry on from the last match, please. Now, I'm not too sure how we'll translate after that FA Cup performance. Obviously, Corinthians were a little bit of a weaker side compared to Chelmsford. In fact, let's take a look at where Chelmsford are in the table. So Chelmsford are a couple of places behind us, so really and truly should be a bit of a battle. However, as you can see, we aren't too far off of those playoff positions. We're actually a point behind. So if we can get a win here or even a draw, we're looking pretty good. And considering the board want us to finish mid-table this season, top half this season, a draw would do us very well indeed. But Awara Edwards manages to beat his man. He gets tackled but wins it back. The ball eventually ends up with Richards, who shoots from a long way out and hits the crossbar. And so far, we're not doing too bad. I think that the attacking system at home might be the way to go. However, Chelmsford do have a little bit of a break here. We do manage to slow things up and force them back towards their own goal. And Edwards is so high at the pitch there. I'm not too sure why he's not helping out in the defence and getting back. But we managed to find him on the break, and he doesn't beat his man. He gets tackled, and we get a throw-in in a decent position. But no highlight, so I'm assuming that throw-in came to nothing. We start again with a Bath City goal kick. The ball ends up with Edwards on the right, and everything just seems to be going through Edwards, which I'll not complain about because he is probably our best looking player out there this season. Alongside Joe Reynes as well, who is performing pretty well. He's averaging like a 7 point something rating, and is the only player in this entire squad that's averaging above a 7. And that being said, because they're both on the right hand side today, I am going to focus play down the right just for the next 15 minutes until half time and see how that shakes things up. Maybe we'll get a goal and head into half time 1-0 up. But we play a big ball back into the box, and it's eaten up by the Chelmsford City goalkeeper, who plays it forward. Batten cuts the long ball out, but it does end up back with Chelmsford City on the right wing. Riley Lowe cleared the ball. It falls to their centre midfielder, I assume, who does take a shot, and it ends up for a corner, which fizzles out to nothingness. And this first half has been a little bit back and forth. We were dominating in terms of shots, but since that first period, we have not really done much. So I'm just going to drop back a little bit from the attacking mentality. We're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad at all. Things just haven't gone right for us. We have hit the crossbar a couple of times, and that has switched off everybody. Whoops. Right, okay. No, and that's... Don't know what to do after that. After you've completely, ruined the cohesion or dynamics at the halftime, team talk, I'm not too sure how you can kind of come back from that. And I am slightly concerned that we sent them out there just hanging their heads. We're going to drop back to balanced. That being said, and Ryan Brunt, I'm not too sure why he continued the counter-attack there. Maybe that's a thing of playing this tiki-taka system. Maybe just kind of more so focused on retaining possession than kind of looking for goal-scoring opportunities. But the ball is with Reynes on the right wing, who finds Edwards in the box, and his shot is blocked by Chelmsford City. And we're just going to demand a little bit more from them, because they are looking complacent out there, and I think that is a result of my awful half-time team talk. I'm going to take off Baxter as well, who isn't playing good at all. Bring on Boa and see if he can kind of secure things up at the back. And Edwards is having a horrible game. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to go back to the counter-attacking system, but we're going to play it balanced. Just make sure that we're not focusing play down the right, because when everything is going down the right, I don't think Edwards can kind of handle the responsibility by the looks of things. But Riley Lowe there cuts out the big ball, plays it back to Batten. Riley Lowe switches the ball to Edwards, who finds Brunt in behind here. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and he scores his second goal of the season from an Edwards assist. Ignore everything I said about Edwards not being able to handle the responsibility. It's like he heard me talking. He heard me saying it and was like, forget this, I'm going to show you what I can do. And he plays in Brunt in behind with the goalkeeper, one-on-one on his right foot, puts it in on the keeper's far side. There is no way the goalkeeper was getting to that. And we are going to continue with the changes and drop back to our counter-attacking system. We're also going to go a little bit more cautious just to preserve that one goal advantage. I'm also going to take off Tom Smith, who's been playing really, really poor. Oh my gosh, midfield and defence, I think, is where we need to strengthen the squad. Well, really and truly, we could do with strengthening all areas of the squad, but we're getting decent results. And Chelmsford City are just knocking the ball around in midfield a little bit. They find O'Sullivan in behind, and that 1 goal advantage is no more. And again, defensive issues are rearing their ugly head. So they play a big ball into Dope, whatever his name is, who finds O'Sullivan, who's completely unmarked. The right back should have done better there, really and truly. Yes, we are going to continue with that. And as you can see, Reynez, who is playing at right back, is having an awful game. Absolutely awful game. So we are going to bring him off. I think we might go back to the tiki-taka. We're not going to focus play down the right, however. I'm going to go back to that. And because it's the same shape, I like being able to kind of switch between the two. And Arturs could have secured the victory there. It was all alone. Put the ball just wide of the goal. And that might just be a thing of him not being quite ready to shoot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Chelmsford City have scored. They scored from the corner. What are we doing? So again, there we just second to the ball, and Chelmsford City make us pay. We do have a throw in a dangerous area. There is 5 minutes of injury time. We have gone attacking, and the ball ends up with Richards. He's looking for Arturs. Arturs kind of walks away from the ball, but he has a crack and puts it wide. And he's getting in the right positions, but his finishing is just not what we need right now. And Bramley comes and sweeps up the free kick. Let's see what we can do from this restart. It plays a big ball forward to absolutely nobody. I'm not too sure what the plan was there, but Chelmsford are in behind again. They are aside, but we are looking so shaky at the back. So far this season, in all the matches, we are looking shaky at the back. And Ryan Brunt there with a chance to equalise for us. It forces a pretty good save from the Chelmsford City goalkeeper, but ladies and gentlemen, I think that this will be the final highlight. Chelmsford start with a throw-in. Bower just hoots it out. Fair enough. I think he had a bit more time on the ball there, but I'll take that. I don't mind him clearing the ball in that situation. But Chelmsford restart with a throw-in again, and Bower is doing absolute bits in that centre-back role. I think I will start him in the next match, because our defensive issues our defenders just don't seem to want to commit to the tackle, and that finishes what might be a pretty disappointing result in the opinions of myself. I don't even know what to say. I am not happy with that performance. Right, so we'll call that time on today's episode. We'll come back for the next match. No, not the next match, sorry. We'll come back for the next episode, maybe towards the end of October. I am just going to kind of scoot past this FA Cup game and come back somewhere closer to November, maybe even in November. But guys, if you made it this far, please leave a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.